Hi, welcome back. Sean, Somatic Healer here. I want to talk and go deeper, dive into the fear of failure, how it all starts. And this is the diagram how it starts from straight away. And you can see from here how it works from the danger. What if we fail? Then it starts from having to fear, anxiety, overthinking, avoiding, procrastination, staying safe. And then you see the list goes on when you make those choices, when you don't make those choices, which you can see for a fact. No growth, no program, same place. Then the opposite side, if you breathe, take one step at a time, then you'll see for a fact, learn to grow and then contribute and progress and success. So you got two choices how the brain responds for here, right? And normally what happens is on the right side, we always think what's going to happen. We always think things not going to work out, things not going to change. So we start to overthink and the brain starts to overthink. Anxiety kicks in. We get scared. We don't want to take the next leap further. And then after that, it goes into constant loop all the time. And I feel this is a massive thing here, what I'm showing you, where this is how the brain activates and this is how the brain does change over time if you make the right choice. Because look, show here. But you got to understand this part of the cycle is always with everything. Everything what we do, everything what we make these choices, decisions, and we get scared. And this is how we can make the right choice from this side, as you can see, or you can make the left choice, like I said before, because I feel over time, our brain has two sides. We live in fear of not making the choices. Then you'll start to procrastinate, overthink, don't make those choices. You get scared because you feel you're going to fail. You feel that listen to other people. And that's when the brain, like I showed in the diagram, starts to process those thoughts, what's in your head, and it gets internalized. And everything starts to move like a cog, like a wheel. And as that wheel goes by, we amplify that even bigger to the point where we think, hang on, maybe that person's right. Maybe I'm not going to make that decision. Maybe I'm not going to do that. And then we steer away when we start to overthink and we analyze everything, every small detail, and we don't decide to do the thing that we're going to do. Then we can't breathe properly. We have panic attacks because we think it's never going to work out. But then the flip side, if you breathe, pause, and take a moment to yourself and think, let me take one step at a time in stages. You have a vision, you have a plan, and then you go step by step. But also at the same time it's the fact you praise yourself. Yes, you'll have a bit of a fear, the unknown, not knowing, but as long as you know you've got the guidelines. And sometimes I know for a fact you want the progress to happen straight away, instantly. But in times in life, you have to be patient with yourself. You have to be patient with the process of the things what you want to do. Listen, we're all through those stages where we have to make the right choices. And then now, when we look at the early stages of our growth, it's growing and we grow and we grow and we learn to grow on that stage. So going back to the diagram again, which I said before, which I will bring back to you again, is that look at the stages, look at the things that knowing that you've got a choice, you've got that side, I said before, is the right choice. And you've got that side where we start to kind of, brain goes at overdrive, goes into danger. And just remember, every step is growing to succeed where you want to be in your own life. Because I'm a big believer doing that. And also, you've got to reflect on the parts where you've achieved each stage, because what happens when you start to overthink, your brain goes that way and you don't realize how much you've achieved so far. Prime example, from where you started, where you are, and where you're going, and the response and how you're feeling yourself. It's no different if you've gone to the gym, and sometimes, when you've been to the gym, nerves start to kick in because you feel like people are watching me. I'm scared if I lift the weight wrong, people make fun of me, and things like that. And it moves in that direction. You've got to start to talk to yourself and don't pay attention. You only look at things knowing that the people around you who can elevate you and you grow together and you encourage each other. That's the part where you've got to see where you stand with people who you hang around with, people that influence you. It could be books, could be anything like that. But I know when you start to look at the other side of your brain, when you start to overthink, you don't make those stages, you don't make those leaps. There's certain things in my life where I know, just to pause on that conversation, where I didn't make those stages, I didn't make those leaps. Like, there's a prime example, there's a guest that I know what I want. I've already got one guest, special guest for the podcast. I can't wait to introduce to you. The second one, again, if you don't make leaps and bounds and asking the questions or the things that you're asking for, you never know what's going to happen because you haven't made that chance. But I'm a big believer, the second special guest that I'm aiming for, I've already got one of them and I was over the moon emotionally. I was so happy about it. The second one is, I have to go and reach out to that person. And I've seen it a couple of times already, but at that time, it wasn't the right time because I knew I was on another project. But this project is, again, with the other person, Jenny, who I'm doing the podcast with, which I know that the second guest, she's a good friend of mine. And, I have good faith. I just have to reach out to this person. And this is the thing, sometimes I feel, okay, let me rephrase that. Everything, not even sometimes, when you want to go for something or something that, there's answers that you want to ask, you go for it. So the second person, I'm going to visit the person. They're in Nottingham at the time. It's sometime in July. And I'll ask them. And I'll take it from there. But you know what? The way I see it is, I know she'll do the podcast for me. It may not be this year. It could be late this year. But in respect of that person, I don't mind going and seeing that person and support that person as well. And now somewhere down the line, they'll support me. And that's the biggest thing I can say really about that. Because I know sometimes in life, there's uncertainty and you start to overthink because you think nothing's not working out, things are not changing, but you have to put the extra mile in the way you want things to happen in your own life, the way you want to progress, the direction you want to go in, because you're in the driving seat in your own life. You're in a position where you can change things in your own life. That's the way I see it as. And this is where I know with the brain is so powerful. You can make any decisions what you want, but also you have to teach the brain to rewire and rephrase certain things that you've learned in the past. Learned behavior can change into positive, and you can have a different spin on it and a different way you look at it, because you can change the way you project your own life, the way you want the life that you want it to be, and work to the goals you want. But also not to burn yourself out, because you do not want to burn yourself out and get tired because you're trying to push too far, too quick to the where you want it to be, the way you want it to see. Like I said in other videos, your brain is like, you train it like a muscle. Train it for one day, rest, get up, train again, and keep the brain active. And you always make sure you have daily goals, your journal, vision board, affirmations, talk to yourself, praise yourself, ask other people's opinion how you're getting on, where you can change a few things, change a few ideas when you run your own life. And over due time, the brain starts to shift. That fear will start to change where you'll go on, move forward, and stay confident in yourself. And this is the way you push yourself in that direction, which I think is very important doing that, which I feel when we make those steps to make those changes, it amplifies the way you are, the way you feel in yourself. You'll feel good in yourself and you keep going forward and you feel that energy in yourself as well that you achieve. It's alignment, to balance the alignment of the purpose where you want to go in your life and what you want in your own direction as well. And that fear, failure will start to change. And yes, you will make mistakes, but you learn and grow and you don't beat yourself about it as well. Because I think what happens when you beat up yourself about things that you feel that you've not achieved, you keep putting yourself down. You keep thinking it's not going to happen. I can't change it. I'm not good at nothing. But what you tend to do, you're telling your brain, you're self-talking your brain to the point of not doing the things what you want to do. And you've got to, the way I see it every day, you learn one thing one day, you get up the next day and you keep going, you keep going, you keep going, you keep going through that cycle, because that's the way I see it as. And you have that vision, that clear vision, the way you see your life, the way you want it to be as well. And also make sure you nurture the mind, the body and the soul as well, which is very important. Every day, check in with yourself, see how you're feeling. If you're feeling good in yourself, take time out, because the goals will always be set, but look after your body at the same time. And you'll feel really refreshing every moment that you take in your life as well. So thank you again. DM me, message me. Of course, I'll put on Instagram, I'll be away soon. But again, you can reach out to me and speak to me. I'm very grateful again for listening to this video and the podcast station. I cannot wait to fill you in. Not yet, but soon. I cannot wait. Thank you again. Thank you.